right? So this is definitely a more complete definition. We have 2 points. 1 point, not being job being unsatisfactory, and it could be due to their behavior, poor performance. 2 points are there because the definition was not very exact. Yes, Atika, you have a question?
Miss, can we say that dismissal is when a job is ended against the will of the worker?
That would be 1. Against, of course, it will be against the will of the worker. It's always against the will of the worker, but it is about his performance. That's actually a 0. That's not even 1, because it's not about the will of the worker. It is about his performance. It's always going to be, like nobody's going to be fired like willingly. So that won't give you a mark. Dismissal is basically you are not performing, and that is why you're told to leave. Now this, like I explained, 2-on-2, and this one is 1-on-1 because he's fired. Even though it's not a great word to use, you still get 1, and this one just didn't mean anything. Fired, why? Due to poor behavior. So iski wajah se usko 1 mark mil gaya. अगर वो poor behavior ना लिखता तो शायद वो 1 mark भी नहीं मिलना था. So ये इस line की वजह से मिल गया. इस line का कुछ भी नहीं मिला. This is nothing. This is just random explanation. Okay, now this is one part C in which it says identify 2 possible problems to HSN of many employees leaving. Now this one requires application. It's talking about HSN, which is a business. Inefficient productivity. If workers are leaving every now and then, there might be problem in production of breakfast cereals. Now we have not read the case study, but now we know what are they making, breakfast cereals. So that's application, which might reduce sales and profit. If workers are leaving the job, then HSN has to recruit new group of workers, which might increase the recruitment cost and training cost as well. Now, if you look at only problem 2, they've used the word HSN, which is the name of the company, the thing else, no other application. Problem is identified here, inefficient productivity. Uses information from the scenario, application marks here, breakfast cereal. Second problem is there, but rather than explaining this, if people are leaving and you have to recruit more, and that increases the recruitment cost. Now, इसमें हमें application चाहिए थी. उसने training cost डाल दिया, which is another problem. वो एक अलग story थी. We didn't need that. We needed application here to get the 4th point. And because the candidate didn't do that, the 4th point is lost. He only got, or she only got 3 on 4. So that is what you have to be careful. 1 application here, and यहाँ पे अगर वो breakfast cereal दोबारा लिख देता फिर भी marks नहीं मिलते. So you had to write something else. Okay, now how the question could have been improved. It was very generic reference to the fact that business had 600 employees. Now I mentioned earlier that you can use number of employees. So if a lot of people are leaving, many people are leaving, many employees are leaving. So 600 employees are leaving, that means a large number. So that would mean a lot of recruitment cost, a high recruitment cost. That would have given it a 4 on 4. The other problem was identified. However, a third problem was identified, which was unnecessary. So that was not needed. Now let's quickly do part B. Explain how each of the following could cause communication barriers. So now there's 2. The language used by the sender may be more technical. So that's the problem. And use advanced terms. Same problem continued. Identify kar diya aapne problem. Barrier identify kar diya. As a result, the receiver may not be able to understand the instructions to be carried. And as a result, ab ye wo kar hai, as a result, you could use better vocabulary, but it's still okay because it's not your English paper. So, you'll get away with it. The 600 production workers. Now, this is application. Very nicely used. May not be able to work effectively, resulting in a loss of potential output. This is what the problem is going to be. Therefore, HSN will not be able to satisfy consumer demand, forcing them to make some of the 600 workers redundant. Abhi thodi zyada lambi explanation hai, but it's okay. It was still good. Identified, explanation, use of technical terms, that what's going to be a problem. Candidate appropriately uses information from the STEM, so good application. The comment about loss of potential output and the last sentence can be omitted. So that's extra information. if you think you manage your time well, you can write it. Otherwise, it's not getting them any extra marks. So this is like a good answer. The second, however, medium of communication. If the message passes through a large number of levels before reaching the intended recipient, it is likely to be distorted. As a result, information will not be clear. So distorted information will not be clear is the same thing, resulting in an increase in administrative cost. How? We don't know that. And an increase in the number of errors. Okay. As a result, the quality of the breakfast cereal will decline due to this communication barrier. Now, दोनों points में एक में उसने 600 production workers use किया और दूसरे में breakfast cereal. So that's fine. Why did this person get 5? Because they're not telling us this point needs more development. Distorted and not clear are the same thing. It's just a fancier word of not clear. The attempt at analysis has the wrong focus and does not explain how the barrier might arise. So the problem was barrier कैसे बना? इसकी जगह उसको पता नहीं, it is going to pass down through many levels. So the information might be unclear due to it has to be passed on from employee to employee. And that barrier might lead to ineffective communication. And that might lead to errors in the tasks being performed by the employees. और ये administrative cost पता नहीं कैसे बढ़ गई है, ये तो उसने कोई अपनी story डाली है बीच में. So that was kind of irrelevant, and that's why they lost the mark. The candidate is awarded application mark, rightly so here. Breakfast cereal, so 5 on 6. So easily आप distract हो जाते हो. You're thinking I know the answer, but इतनी छोटी-छोटी सी जो ये गलतियां हैं, you have to be careful कि आप जो लिख रहे हो, be very mindful. You have to be mentally very active and present at that time. Now, we've already talked about the final sentence was not relevant. So distorted and not clear are the same thing. So we've already discussed that. Now, let's look at part E. Now, this is very important. Even though part E does not have any application anymore, what does it have? Do you think external recruitment is better than internal recruitment when recruiting a new manager for a large business? So a large business, yeah, sometimes आएगा for a manufacturing business, sometimes आएगा for a retail business, और कई दफा generally business वो कह देंगे. अगर तो वो सिर्फ business कह देते हैं, then you don't have to worry about it. But if they mention something with the business, then make sure you include that. अब ये large business की बात हो रही है. So somewhere in your answer, you have to mention that these things, internal recruitment and external recruitment, should be connected to a large business, not like a business जिसमें 2-3 लोग काम कर रहे हैं सिर्फ. External recruitment is when a vacancy is filled by employing someone outside the firm. Definition is not needed. उन्होंने ये नहीं पूछा था. External recruitment will enable transfer of ideas. Okay, employees outside the business may have learned more techniques or better production methods in producing breakfast cereal. It was not about HSN. So breakfast cereal का कोई काम नहीं था यहाँ पे. अब वो बच्चे ने नहीं देखा और वो उसने अपनी प्रैक्टिस के हिसाब से लिख दिया. अब ये पिछले 1-2 सालों से नहीं आ रही है इसके अंदर application, so be mindful of that. Therefore, they will be able to increase output and reduce average costs as efficiency will be higher. Now, definition can no marks. So don't even give the definition. 1 mark for recognizing a relevant advantage, which was here, transfer of ideas, more techniques. एक ही बात है, ideas हैं या techniques है, वो तो same बात है. So again, repetition. So the candidate can only be awarded a mark for one of these. Same thing. Is a general question, so no mark for application. This was again extra. Then, now what they're doing is we're not going to consider कि ये lines कटी हुई answer. ये हम assume कर रहे हैं कि ये answer बच्चे ने पूरा ऐसे लिखा हुआ है. So this will enable HSN to recruit, again HSN irrelevant, to recruit the new manager. However, using internal recruitment may cause jealousy. That's a disadvantage of internal recruitment. Among rivals, if one of the 600 employees, again, irrelevant application, was promoted, the remaining employees may feel demotivated if their hard work is not being rewarded. As a result, no conclusion, nothing. So what did the examiners say? Good example, extended development candidate is awarded 2 analysis marks here because ये इसने बता दिया कि वो average cost जो है वो help to reduce average cost हो रही है. The candidate is awarded a second knowledge mark for stating a disadvantage of internal recruitment, although The disadvantage of internal, although the work has been crossed out, अब ये उन्होंने original candidate को marks नहीं दिए, so don't think कि अगर आप cross out कर दोगे आपको marks मिलेंगे. वो सिर्फ एक sample हमें दिया उन्होंने, तो उन्होंने उसको count किया है. आपने काट दिया, वो नहीं read करेंगे उसको. So don't do that. और अगर किसी ने खुद से पेपर किया, so don't assume कि ये कटा हुआ भी वो पढ़ लेते हैं, वो नहीं पढ़ेंगे. Although the work has been crossed out, no alternative is provided, so the principle of positive marking applies. They're not going to do that, so don't fall for that trap. The candidate has not made a decision, no, so cannot be awarded any evaluation mark. Now, ideally, this person should have gotten only 3, so they're just being very positively marked, so you get a 4. So if you would have given a conclusion and you would have given like another reason to make it clear कि conclusion कहाँ जा रही है, internal recruitment की तरफ या external recruitment की तरफ, that is what would have made it more clear. So there are like a few things, if we recap, that you have to be careful about application. That's the first and foremost, most important thing. Application, be precise about your definitions, your words, use as many business terms as possible, because that's really going to elevate the level, the quality of your answer, and it's going to give a good image. You're going to get better score. Explain the point fully. Do not leave it half done. You have to take it home. You have to tell how it is beneficial, why it is beneficial. क्या होगा इससे, कॉस्ट कम हो रही है, ज्यादा हो रही है, मार्केट में कंपटीशन बढ़ रहा है, जो भी उससे रेलेवेंट पॉइंट है उसको आप पूरा एक्सप्लेन करें, and then connect it to profit. Don't directly jump to profit or sales. That is the most important thing. And thirdly, आपकी जो part E में, don't waste time on application, but make sure you follow the 2 versus 1 rule and you give a clear conclusion. Do you agree? Do you don't agree? What do you think? That one line is 1 mark. So you don't want to lose that 1 mark. Okay. Now do let me know if you have any questions. Okay, yes, Ibrahim.
Ma'am, in a justify question, can we like counter the disadvantage of the point we are supporting?
Yes, you should. But it has to be 2 versus 1 that you're supporting.
Okay.
Let's say democratic leadership style. So, and you've given me 2 reasons why you support it. Then you say, however, you know the limitation. So you mentioned the limitation that, it is time consuming. So you will counter it because the examiner does require a 2-sided answer. So that's how you make a 2-sided answer. But you can't do that कि आपने 2 advantages बताए और 2 ही disadvantages बता दिए, क्योंकि फिर justified नहीं रहती आपकी conclusion. Do you understand? For it to be justified, it has to have more weight on one side and less weight on the other side. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
All right, Lena, you have a question?
Yes, Miss, it's a continuation of the previous question I asked. So basically in the question of whether price is the most significant element of the marketing mix, if we do support yes, price is the most significant, then we give 2 reasons as to why we think price is. And then when we're giving a disadvantage, what do we write over there? Do we collectively talk about the other 3 P's and say, okay, they are also significant and they're also, as significant as price as they are needed to decide whether or not the business would be able to make sales or something like that.
Okay, so you will say they're significant. You will not say as significant as price, because you're trying to say price is a little more significant, but you'll say, yes, they are also significant when we look at a holistic approach or a holistic picture, because without the other 3 P's, price alone will not be able to make the product successful.
Yeah.
Okay, you will not say it equally, because if you say equally, तो आपकी justification ही खत्म हो गई. कि आप कह रहे हो ये सब कुछ इक्वल हो गया, सो वो नहीं हम कह रहे हैं वो सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट है, लेकिन बाकी भी इम्पोर्टेंट है, बिकॉज उसके बगैर as a holistically you will not be able to sell your product successfully. You will not be able to have a popular product or a successful profitable product in the market.
Yes, okay. And if we disagree with price, then what do we write in the answer?
So then you can either pick one of the 3 components. You can say, no, I feel product is the most important. And then you give 2 reasons for the product. Or you can, another way of going about it is you can say, no, all 4 P's are equally important, because, one cannot stand without the other. So both ways you can answer the question and you will be able to get a 6 on 6, both ways.
Okay, Miss. Thank you so much.
All right, so if we don't have any other questions, I think that's it for today. Hope you found it useful, and all the best.